Okay, first and foremost, the act of excommunication is a disciplinary action of the church, not a doctrinal action. That means that the church uses this to as a deterrent to stop people from following this bad example of an individual. So let's suppose you have a group that preaches something heretical, like the Montanists in the early centuries of the church. The church has the duty to intervene and say, this is a heretical teaching, do not follow it. The church will not excommunicate immediately. It did that centuries ago. Now it first seeks to clarify, and this is the right approach, to make sure that the person is aware that what they said is wrong. Sometimes people say things with a good intention and it comes out wrong and they didn't mean to say something wrong. So the church gives them the benefit of the doubt and says, you know, this is not contrary to church teaching. Can you correct it? And if the person persists and says no, now they reveal their intention, which is to not conform to church teaching. Then the church can give them a warning. Unless you change, we will excommunicate. And if they persist, then they do the excommunication. There's another type of excommunication. One is called ferende latentiae. The other one is called ad divinis. And that's automatic. Late sententiae and ferende sententiae, okay? The late sententiae is automatic, and that happens with an abortion, for example. A woman deliberately, knowing that this is a human being, terminates the birth before the child is viable. She's automatically excommunicated. There are certain things that incur an automatic excommunication, and the church does not have to formally state it. Now, suppose a person falls into one of these two categories, from automatic excommunication, late sententiae, or through the church's process of informing them, warning them, finally excommunicating, known as ferende latentiae. That person is not necessarily cut off from salvation. Remember, it's a disciplinary action, not a doctrinal action, because the church uses that as both a deterrent to avoid other people following that bad example and a wake-up call to the individual to get back in line with the church. And if that person, after that excommunication, privately gets back in touch with the church, though still excommunicated, they can be saved. And even if they're excommunicated, it doesn't mean that they're going to hell, okay? Because God alone sees the person's intention, sees what the person in their education experienced to lead them to come to this conclusion. And they could have, in their education, been misinformed with bad books that made them draw that conclusion, which impacts their intentionality. So God sees that. Excommunication doesn't necessarily mean you're cut off from heaven. No, it's a disciplinary action on earth. Thank you for the question.